Hey, this is Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. We are going to be making a Christmas design today on the 14-inch pancake wreath frame. If you purchased this as a kit, just wanted to let you know, show you that this was the sign extender. This is a video here available on YouTube for replay. And then also here is the other kit that went, so it was a triple kit. So we had the 10-inch frame. So this is a video that is also here on YouTube with the 10-inch frame. And then now we're going to be working on the 14-inch frame. So there was a triple kit. All three of them came together. And this is the third part of it. So we have ribbons that we already cut now. Also, if you purchase this as a kit, there was a special video just for the folks who purchased the kit that went through the supplies that told you what we cut, what lengths they were. We'll kind of review them briefly here, but if you bought the kit, please make sure you've watched that private video first, okay? So here we go. This is going to be for the 14-inch, okay? We've already cut our ribbons. Our ribbons were the stripe and the trucks. Our ribbons were cut at 14 inches a piece. This is what we had left over. That may vary. And then we have 2 yards of the stripe, 2 yards of the polka dot, plaid, 2 yards of the polka dot, and 2 yards of the stripe. That'll be for the bow. And then I might throw that in there. Maybe, maybe not. Set that aside for now. Our ribbons are ready, cut and ready to go. And what we'll do now is, this is our sign. What we'll do now is add our pipe cleaners to the frame to start. We're going to add pipe cleaners to the whole thing. So I'm just going to start on the outside. Now, anywhere you see one of these little notches is where we're going to put our pipe cleaner. Okay, so there's a notch and a hole that match each other. There's 6 of them on the outside. And then there's 6 of them on the inside. And we're going to put a pipe cleaner in every single hole that matches the notch. And as you see, we're going to end up with actually a couple of extra holes. And we'll talk about that at the end. Sorry. We'll talk about that at the end. Okay, so we're just going to add our pipe cleaners into the frame. Super easy. I don't have to think about where they're going. I got a spot for them right where those holes are. Just adding those to every single one. Now, it doesn't really matter how long they are. I'm trying to go in the center, but it really just doesn't matter. We're not using very much of this pipe cleaner at all. In fact, we're going to cut off most of it. So, almost done here. There we go. Okay, so now from here we're going to take our mesh. Now if you remember from the video, those of you who watched the instructional video, the mesh was cut off in certain ways. So this is the not the first 6 cuts that came off, but what I'm putting on the outside here is the second 6 cuts. To understand that, please make sure you've watched the supply video if you purchased the kit. Okay, so these are cut so that we could get all 3 pieces that I just showed you, both the sign extender, the mesh here, the sign extender, the 10-inch, and the 14-inch, so that we could get a design out of every single one of those. We cut our mesh a little bit shorter than we typically do, and that was so that we kind of stretch our supplies. So this is roughly 18.5 inches long. Then we ended up with a piece that was just long enough for the side extender. I'm going to go right up the center with this. All the way up the center. We're working on the outside 6 pieces first. Let me just zoom in here. Here we go. Overlap here. Zoom up all the way, right up the center. So I went with a mesh that matched all 3 projects, which I personally love the jute. I would use it for everything if I could. I just like the way that allows the ribbons to kind of really be highlighted. I like the colored mesh, don't get me wrong, and I do use it. I just I really like, especially in the pancake styles, where this just really lets the ribbon kind of really be the star of the show. Right down in there, put that mesh all the way down to that frame. Now, no one loves this frame more than I do. It's a patent pending. I am part of that patent, both myself and Damon. But your customer is not going to want to see that frame. I might, they might not. So you want to make sure you're doing your best job hiding that frame. And after you have the mesh on, it's going to look like, what am I doing? I can still see, but just don't worry. Keep trusting the process. Putting that right in there. Okay, and then one last piece coming down the outside. Then we have our first layer in. Overlapping all of that mesh, kind of tucking everything in so that it stays kind of round and flat like a pancake. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is, I'm just going to set the camera up here. Next thing we're going to do is add the ribbon to the outside. We're going to add the ribbon to the outside. So we have our two 2.5 inch ribbons. So they're 14 inches long. I put my favorite on the top. I'm just going to add those together. And then I already folded it to find our center. And then I'm going to scrunch up that center. Kind of fold it towards me. And put it right in. Nice and tight. We're going to do this all the way around so that we can pick up our, whoopsie, we can pick up our ribbon, our wire cutter all at the same time. So nice and scrunched. Put it down in there. Just totally. Towards you, nice and tight. That way you only have to pick up the wire cutter just once. Now, I use my sign to match my ribbons, of course. And one thing I wanted to show you that I'm kind of been doing on purpose. So this ribbon is a one-directional ribbon, and by that I mean it is printed. You can see the words are perfectly going this way, so it's facing towards me. I put all of them in this way, okay, and then I put one in upside down, and that one that I put in upside down was this one. So I put them all facing towards me so that I could see all the words, and I put one upside down because that's going to be where the top is. So now, because I put it in upside down, now that it's facing towards me, I can see the words here perfectly still too. So just so that you know, that was just a tip that I, don't want to forget to tell you. Sometimes I do forget, but I don't want to forget to tell you. Anyway, we're going to take our wire cutter here and cut off all of those little extra pieces. So because I just twirled those, and then I only had a little bit left. Now all I'm going to do is push that down in and pull those apart and pull all the ribbons apart so I can see all of those ribbons, right? So I want to see the stripes, I want to see the trucks, and I want all of those ribbons to come out towards the edge of that design. Anything goes in the center in this particular design, this particular method, you won't see it. It'll end up being underneath the next layer of mesh and ribbons. So we want to make sure all of those are coming out towards the edge. And we're going to keep in mind where that one went in upside down, because that's where we're going to kind of start on the next one, to make sure the next layer kind of repeats itself and does the same thing. Now, you can't help it. This one actually is going to be upside down, and that one will be right side. Where is it? There it is. So this one ends up upside down, and this one ends up upside down. But pretty much everything else, this one kind of too, but pretty much everything else ends up the right way. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing going into that inner layer. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing, taking our mesh. Now this was the pieces, these were the 6 pieces that came off the roll last. These are last 6 pieces. Actually, there was one other piece after that that we already used on the sign extender, but that's a different story. This is going to be okay that it's all kind of not, doesn't make that nice big kind of fluffy, and that's going to be okay because we're putting it right on top of here. And it has that other layer of mesh to support it and to kind of fill out. Overlap, overlap. And then unruffle. All the way up. So I use red pipe cleaners for no other particular reason than there's a little bit of red in the top of the ribbon, or both ribbons really. So I knew it would blend in with the ribbon. I could have also used that natural color that I typically use, because the mesh would blend in with that. However, this time I just chose the red just because. Make sure I get all the way up. So one layer is, the outer layer is kind of barely touching each other. This layer is definitely going, so this half of this mesh went directly over that other half on the last piece. So this piece, this inner ring is definitely really overlapping. This is where you're really going to start to find the coverage for your base. And I know I tell y'all to not mess with these until at the very end. Sometimes it's just hard. You see them kind of, the ribbons kind of sneaking in there, and it's just easy to pull them out while you're right there. But that's the best thing to do is really to do that on the, to pull all those ribbons out at the very end. It's the best thing to do. That way you're not touching them and moving them so many times. Some of the ribbons can sometimes fray on the ends. These seem to be really good, so I would not these ones, but you know, you just never know. The ribbon can be super cute and then fray on the end. So the more you're touching it, the more the opportunity for that arises, and it's just not a good look. So I try to mind my own rules and play with it only at the end when I'm all done, right before it goes on the door to take a picture, and then it goes either right in a box or right over to the boutique to sell. Okay, 2 more pieces, and then we're going back in with the ribbon. Now the sign usually helps a lot with the flattening, and so these inner pieces of mesh, you know, I mean, I do overlap them and I do my best to make them kind of, you know, flatten and turn them upside down. But I will also say that I know that the bow that's going to go on top and the sign that's going to go top is going to do a really good job of help keeping that design flat for me. And so I'm not really, usually if I'm doing it without the camera, I'm not really paying attention to those ruffles too much, because I know all those other elements are going to do a lot of work for me as far as keeping it flat. There we go. Again, I'm going to try not to touch those outer, the outer mesh, and I'm going to put our next layer on right on top of that second layer of mesh. So let's find that one piece of ribbon that we put in. There it is. So this piece went in upside down. So let's go over there. Okay, and we're going to put these 2 in upside down. So instead of them going this way, we're going to put them in this way. Now, usually, especially if I'm live, I forget that step. I forget to go back, and usually it's someone who's saying, wait, you know, you got to do it this way. Usually I forget, but when I remember, I'm even happier. So now I'm going to point this out while it's there and you can see it really good. So now I can see those words this way and these words coming this way. So if I have that wreath up in front of me, now everything else is going to be put in the other way, the way I would normally do it. But that's just to help so you could see those words on the outer, you know, shell of that wreath. So you could see them facing you makes a little more sense, easier, the trucks are going the right way, etc. Scrunch up that center super duper little. See how this is just going to go on top of all that mesh, helping it kind of stay flat. Same thing, I'm putting those all in there and then fluffing them out all at the same time. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this off, get them out of there. I don't need them anymore. So at this point I'm not putting anything else in this, you know, nothing else is going in the wreath except for the sign and the bow, of course. So I don't need those pipe cleaners anymore. I can get rid of them. And then of course go back and fluff our ribbons. So even now, I'm still not going to play with those. I'm going to wait till the very end, till my sign is on and everything, to fluff those ribbons. And I'm telling y'all that because I'm saying it to myself in my head. So leave those alone. The last step in remembering, in helping you see those ribbons the right way, is making sure you put your sign in so that it enhances that ability to see those words the right way. So hopefully I can remember that last piece. Making sure I'm pulling my ribbons up and apart so I can see all those ribbons. Perfection. Okay, so I see the ribbon going this way. Where is it? And the ribbon going that way. Okay, so here's our sign. We have those two things. They're going to go here. And I could put that right in the center. Look at how cute that is. So full of all the stuff. We're going to leave that like this. Flip our thingy over. Make sure I have the right staples in, because earlier I had big ones in. And then I'm going to take so your kit would come with the 3M zip tie mounts. Okay, it would come with the zip tie mounts. You'd put peel this backing off of here, add a little bit of Dap Rapid glue, and stick those babies on. I only do 2 spots. Y'all might feel more comfortable doing 4. I typically only do 2. So my staples are 1/4 of an inch. My sign is not quite 1/4 of an inch, so I need to beef it up just a little bit. And I'm going to do that by using the back side of a spool, a ribbon spool, 50-yard ribbon spool. It's just because it's a little thick cardboard. It's going to give me a little padding in there. And so all I'm going to do is add our pieces and our 2 pipe cleaners. Okay. So I've gone ahead, added the padding. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, stick it on the back there, and then just give it 2 good snips. 1, 2, and then same over here. 1 and 2. There, now I can attach this in to my wreath. Okay, where do those thingies go? Where are they? There they are, just like that. Okay, so for in this case, we're going to move it up just a little bit because I do have ribbons here for a bow. Move it up just a little bit. And put those pipe cleaners through. This is always the hardest part, getting those pipe cleaners to zip on through. Just using my fingers underneath there to kind of help guide it in. And I'm just going to pull it kind of tight. Twist it around and tuck it in. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Just find a spot where that pipe cleaner can get all the way through. I really meant it when I said this was the hardest part, because getting that mesh through can sometimes be not so fun. Okay, I just want to make sure that that is in the center before I flip it over. Slide it in there. So we have a nice little sign attached. Okay, I'm still gonna not play with the ribbon. Melissa, don't play with the ribbon. Okay, I'm gonna get our ribbon out though for our bow. Can't take it, it's driving me nuts. As you move things around, then it just starts to get like, ah. Okay, we have a plaid, a polka dot, and a stripe. I'm going to put the polka dots in the center, pulling those polka dots right out of the ribbon, pulling them right out of the sign. So cute. And then, of course, the stripes, not the same stripes, but a little bit of different stripes here. We're going to go with an 8-inch, tail, nope, a 7-inch tail, and a 6-inch loop. Okay. So we have 7 inches and 6 inches. I'm just going to roll that with a 6. And then I'm going to pinch. Twist. Loop. Pinch. Twist. Loop. Pinch, twist, loop. Actually, we're just going to do 2. We're going to do 2 loops on one side, 1 loop on the other side. We're going to turn this into a Lisa bow. So I have 2 loops over here, 1 loop over here, and 2 tails over here. We're going to call this a Lisa bow. We're going to do that same process on every single layer. So it's going to be 2 loops, 1 loop, 2 tails. And then on the next layer, the 2 loops are going to be on the opposite side, leaving the 2 tails on the opposite side. That way when you fluff this out, it kind of has a nice balanced look. And I really like the way that it turns out. So again, this was called, I just call it Lisa bow. I learned from Lisa Kellum at Kellum's Creations. She didn't teach me, but I just sat and watched her make bows over and over and over until I had it. So this is her style of bow. So we're going to take our next ribbon, that is the 1.5 inch, and then I'm just going to make this loop a little bit smaller than the last one. This is a little bit better ribbon also. The first ribbon was really super cute, but it was kind of thin. making it not as easy to work with. This ribbon itself and the wire is a little bit thicker. So the first one's super cute, but not the best. Pinch, twist, loop. Twisting that. Now I'm going to have my, so the tails went over here. I'm going to have the tails go over on this side. I'll slide that right in. Y'all have carpal tunnel. I do. That's why I use the Easy Bow Maker. Make it so much easier for me. I'm going to have that last ribbon, and this last ribbon is going to have a little tiny loop on the top. It's about 2 or 3 inches. Just going to use that to hide our pipe cleaner, and then pinch. Okay. And then twist. And now I still need 3 loops in addition to that. So pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, and twist. Now I have the 2 loops over here, so I'm going to put the 2 loops on the opposite side. It's going to go in just like that. Now I do want to make sure you see how that ribbon is kind of really twisted there. Before that goes in my pipe cleaner, I do want to make sure that that ribbon is the way it should be. And that means me getting underneath there and making sure it's the right way. Okay, I'm going to use my last pipe cleaner here to add to the bow. So all I'm going to do is lift it up. Okay, my tail's going everywhere. Take my pipe cleaner, add it to the top, turn it over, nice and tight. And I have a big mess. Okay, and we're just going to take all those tails, move them to the end. Now notice if you were in the supply video, I mentioned that we had a couple of extra pieces that were from the tails. You could have put it in your bow if you wanted to. I personally try not to do that. Excuse me. I try not to do that so that it doesn't really kind of seem confusing, where the bow just really sticks out. It matches, it coordinates, but it's still different and therefore really kind of pops out at you. So I'm going to take our mess here, and well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to attach it first. I'm going to attach it first. So I'm going to take those pipe cleaners and run it right down through here. Again, it's the hardest part. So lately I've been using wire for the signs, wire for the bows. It just seems to be a little easier to go through that mesh. So the pipe cleaner has 2 tiny little wires that are kind of wound together. Well, that catches on those little tiny pieces of mesh. And so it does not make it better. It doesn't make it easy. And so I've been using wire because it helps. It does make it a little bit easier, actually. Faster, for sure. All right, I have that attached to the frame, just like I attached the sign. Okay, and now all I'm going to do here, it is gonna kind of we're going to try not to cover up too many of the words, but we're going to on its side. So this is the side I have the two tails. One's going to go up, one's going to go down. The polka dots are going to go kind of flank those two sides. That one's going to go in the center. So that's one side. You see that's way too tall. Let's go ahead and just cut that one right now. So we can cut this one because it is part of this. These will be all extra pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to move that polka dot up. Then move everything. Oops, forgot this long one. Oopsie. There we go. So we have some extras. There we go. Super duper cute. So now I get to go through and pull out all of our ribbons, making sure that they are all even in the right spot. So all I want to do when I put this on the door is pull up my camera and take a picture. I don't want to have to do any of this fluffing kind of placing. I want it to be as in the best spot as possible before it gets there. So take it right off my table, right to the door. Picture it, list it. Perfect, just like that. See, now that our sign is in place, it'll help me keep all these other things where they need to be. I thank you very much for joining, for watching. If you were one of the folks who were able to get this kit, the triple kit, thank you very much. Don't forget, I hope that you watched the supply video to know all the measurements and all those things and the reasons why we cut them and giving you an options on what you want to do. This is so cute. Let's just zoom you out a little bit further. There you go. Super duper cute. Love how that bow really sticks out. Actually, it does stick out. That just kind of looks, there we go. Tuck that in there a little bit. Make sure it looks like it belongs there. But super thin on the pancake. Nicely fit between the doors. Super great. Very well made on the wreath frame. Nice and neat on the back. Very nice. Y'all, thank you very much for watching, subscribing, all those things. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you're inspired. I hope that you're starting Christmas. If you're a wreath maker, it's about that time, of course. Thank you very much. Again, it's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. Thanks for watching. Thanks for buying the kit, and I'll see you soon.